Hey folks, Gil the Gilness here for AF Collectors, coming to you from the Fortress of Solitude with another quick review. And as we're filming this, we're coming up on the great Star Wars Celebration 2022 convention in Anaheim, California. And I thought it appropriate to do a little review on some Star Wars stuff. So, some stuff that's kind of close to what I personally collect. A few years back now, Hasbro began to add on figures, so to speak, to the original 1970s, 1980s 3 3/4 inch original line with the 5 points of articulation. And they were great figures. They did some retro reproductions, and then they started adding some figures in, like Grand Moff Tarkin. I believe they added in Luke Hoth in the speeder uniform, the speeder outfit. And then they did a line of Mandalorian figures. To me, and it's just me, this is just my opinion, those figures are, even though they're retros and they're newer, to me they're an extension of the original line. They're figures that integrate and look perfectly with the original figures. So to me, it's almost like I'm continuing my collection of retro vintage carded figures, and that's something that's very passionate for me. In my collection, I collect carded vintage original figures. So without further ado, I mentioned that the Mandalorian was a continuation, was part of that retro line. Well, they continued the retro continuation of the Mandalorian with a series 2, and I just so happen to have those to show you here today. I'm going to start with the Imperial Death Trooper. Right, so this was on I believe the first season of Mandalorian, and they were out to attack Mando and his group of buddies in the while they were in the bar trying to escape with Grogu. Everybody loves a trooper, for troop building and such. Well, here you go. You can add on to your vintage 3 3/4 inch line now with an Imperial Death Trooper from the Mandalorian. Really cool figure. Back is kind of plain, and the rest of the figures all have this same backing. There's nothing really special to it, but the front is that vintage feel. The vintage logo is up at the top, that sort of Return of the Jedi style to it, right? And of course the rest of the card looking very vintage. It has that circular sticker that you might have seen on some of the vintage carded figures back in the day with special offers and such, so that kind of mimics that. You've got the shot from the actual series, the Mandalorian on there, and it just has a great vintage feel. Moving on, the next figure here is Bo-Katan. So there you go. There's Bo-Katan in the 3 3/4 inch retro treatment. The paint deco on the figure really kind of harkens back to the paint decos of those older figures. It wasn't quite 100% accurate. Didn't quite actually match some of the colors. It's very well done. It's very well stylized for that vintage feel from back in the day. And again, the same type of card. You've got the shot from the show right here. The sticker. The back is still kind of plain. I would really hope that they might have put on the back here that list and picture of figures in the row like they used to do back in the day. That would be so cool, but they've got to fit 5,000 different languages back here these days, so you can't really get away with too much real estate, unfortunately. So that's why they do that. But there you go. There's Bo-Katan. We've got 4 more. Next one up is the Armor. This is the Way. There she is. Once again, in that retro style. Pretty cool. I think it does the armor some justice. Looks like a pretty cool figure. Pretty good detailed figure. Again, the old style of backer card and the 5 points of articulation on the figure. And she comes with some of her armoring, accessories as well. And also the other previous figures comes with pistols and guns as they appear in the show. So there you go. There's the armor once again. And we'll move on. We got 3 left. These are my top 3. Saving the best for last, by the way. Here we have Ahsoka. Ahsoka Tano in vintage style, 3 3/4 inch. I mean, How cool is this, right? I mean, who would ever thought that we would get an Ahsoka Tano in a 1970s, 1980s style action figure? This is a great time to be a collector when you've got stuff like this, whether you like these or not. Just the idea that they put the time in to make this particular figure is so cool. So there you go, there's Ahsoka. A great shot of her from Mandalorian on there. That vintage feel. She's got her lightsabers that almost look like swords like they did back in the day. Perfectly captured in that vintage style. It's very, very cool. Well done, Hasbro. I'm loving these figures, and maybe we should call them Kenner, because they do have the Kenner logo to further bring out that nostalgic feel. And of course, there's the plane back again. All right, second favorite, the Mandalorian. There he is. And this is in his full-on Beskar armor. Unfortunately, just like with the original back in the day figures, this circle sometimes covered up the best of the art on the package. And right here we have a pretty clear example of that. It's right over Mandalorian, so you can't really see him too well, but you got him right there. You can see a little bit. And the figure, of course, is the most important. And very well done. Once again, retro style Mandalorian. Cool stuff. He's got the long rifle. He's got his little blaster there. He's in full Beskar armor, not just his clunky armor that he starts out with. You know, he's in his nice fancy armor there. If you look on the side here, it looks like he's got his backpack on there, but it's a little hard to tell. I'm a mint-in package collector, so normally I would do an unboxing, but these guys have to stay in the package. If I get another one, maybe I'll pop them open. We'll see. But this is my only set so far, so they have to stay. That's just my rule. If you want to take them out, let them breathe, play with them, go to town. It's your own discretion. Me, I keep them in the package. So there you go. Second favorite figure out of Wave 2 of Mandalorian Retros, the Mandalorian himself in Beskar armor. Very cool figure. And of course, I saved the best for last, at least in my opinion. It's not your opinion, it's my opinion. You don't have to think this is the best figure out of the line or the best figure of any line. I just happen to think that this is the coolest figure to come out in this style since 1980 whatever, when some of the coolest like Power of the Force figures came out. When the Luke Stormtrooper Power of the Force figure that had the removable helmet came out, I was over the moon. Gosh, I was probably 8 years old when that came out, but to finally get that figure was so awesome. You know, it meant a lot. So they didn't make those figures when I was 3 and 4 and just growing up into Star Wars. So it was like, oh my God, finally I've got this figure. This figure, I kind of got that same feeling when I first saw it. And, you know, it's a character that's been done before. It's, you know, no surprise. But the quality job that they did and the care that they took to make this figure what it should be in this retro style is just amazing. So without further ado, we've got Boba Fett from The Mandalorian Season 2. And this is his Morak look, where he finally gets his armor, full armor, back from Mando and puts it on for the first time. And just an iconic point in The Mandalorian Season 2 where Boba kind of returns to full capacity. So this retro style figure, yeah, this to me is like, this represents why I love the retro figures, why I love the vintage figures so much. The quality and just the way he looks. He's so simple, 5 points of articulation. The paint ops are, you know, nothing crazy or special, but that's vintage to me. And Boba Fett always screams vintage because, you know, rocket firing Boba Fett, carded Boba Fett's from back in the day worth millions of dollars, whatever, what have you. I'm exaggerating, I know. But to see another carded vintage Boba Fett really made my day. So, real happy with this one, Hasbro. Thank you very much. I can't wait to find a couple more. I would love to take them out of the package and, you know, have another one to kind of toss into, you know, storage somewhere, and put this one right on display with the rest of my vintage Star Wars figures and Boba Fett collection. So this is awesome. If you're not going to get any of the other retro figures, I highly recommend at least picking this one up. Very cool. So, thank you to Hasbro once again for these. These are some of my favorite figures currently available from the Fortress of Solitude here, and about to head on out to Star Wars Celebration in Anaheim, California. I am the Gilness for AF Collectors. I thank you for spending a little time with me, and I will see you on the next one, probably from California. May the Force be with you. Okay, we're done.